All right, welcome to another edition of Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. I'm DJ Impact. I got Sin City Steve with us. I have Simon Street also. We don't have Matt Michaels. He hopefully will be back with us next week. But we are left in good hands. And if you listen to Wrestling Talk, you got a chance to hear him. And he joined us on this edition as well. And that is Mr. Rob Bass Comedy.
Yo, what's up? Rob Boss Comedy here,
That's
comedian
right,
in
man.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, man. This guy's a good comedian. Do some local shows. He's going to have to let us know where he's at, maybe at the end when we give our shout outs. He could give us some information. Nevertheless, welcome to the show. If you're watching us live, make sure you throw all your comments in the chat box. And we'll feel free to get them in. YouTube. I should say YouTube. I should say Facebook. It is YouTube. Jesus. I'm thrown off because our next guest is now texting me saying, "Hey, have you guys started?" Yeah, we started, dude. Let me just tell him right quick. Jump on. All right.
Please join in if you could.
There you go. So he should be on, and that'll be Travis. For most of you guys who've seen him, he's going to be joining us as well. So, anyways, throw your comments in the box, and we will try to get in as we see fit. So, definitely, thanks for hanging out with us. All right, so while he's waiting to get in, let's go right into our intro with 3 count. It's time. Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting present 1, 2, 3 Count Talk.
Count Talk, baby.
All right, and here's our first one, which is AEW announces live Saturday night collision on TNT. This is from the NewYorkPost.com. All right. So pretty much what this reads is that AEW's television footprint is getting more robust. Tony Khan's wrestling company and Warner Brothers Discovery announced at their upfronts on Wednesday that they're adding a live 2-hour Saturday night show called AEW Collision at 8 p.m. on Tuesday on TNT beginning June 17th. The show will feature headliners Miro, Samoa Joe, Thunder Rosa, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Andrade El Idolo. This now brings AEW to 5 total hours of wrestling per week on Turner's Network, joining the 2-hour Dynamite on TBS Wednesdays and 1-hour Rampage on TNT Fridays. Now it was, quote, "We are doubling down on wrestling with AEW's Collision, which gives fans 2 more hours every week," said Jason Sarlanis, president of Turner Networks. And AEW's roster of talent has expanded so quickly that we felt it needed another night to bring our audience the epic rivalries, unforgettable matches, and stars they love to watch. Also adding Collision, end quote. And adding Collision to our programming mix of TNT will allow us to satisfy the massive demand we felt from our hardcore fans base and be ultimate compliment to AEW Dynamite on TBS. So that was the announcement for that. Let me go over to Sin City. You wanted to bring this up, man. The idea that Collision is coming. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, this is absolutely massive. For all the naysayers, for all the people that have said, "Oh, well, AEW's in the mud, their numbers are tanking, blah blah blah," and they're talking all sorts of shit. Well, the people that actually have known what was going on have said, no, the network is very happy, and here is proof. They are not just maintaining their time slots, they're gaining 2 extra hours of live programming every single week. Now, obviously, it's going to be interesting with, the various playoff seasons and other sporting events that will preempt this show on TNT. Because anybody who knows anything about the traditional sports calendar knows that occasionally you'll have the NBA playoffs. You'll have various other things on TNT, and they love that Saturday night time slot. Right. So yeah, they're going to have to deal with some funky changes from time to time, but in any event, this is huge. There were numbers that were thrown out about, concerning the TV rights deal, upwards of $1 billion over 5 years to AEW, which is absolutely massive. Now, of course, nothing has been reported as public on that. However, keep in mind, AEW is getting about $47 million right now per year.
Okay.
And if they're anywhere even in the ballpark of $1 billion over 5, that's $200 million a year, 4 times as much as what they're getting now. That is massive.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let me go over to you, Simon Street. What's your thoughts, man, hearing about Collision being the part?
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm happy that it went through. I think overall, just how I view me personally, AEW is just, I feel like it was a success. And I say that from the standpoint of you created a secondary option for not only people who couldn't get on with WWE or who were maybe overseas. Now they have something viable, right? Now, as far as the Saturday, I don't really worry about whenever they have to change times, because if you've grown up watching wrestling and you're 30 to 40 years old, that shit was happening all the time anyway. So that's nothing abnormal, right? They'll probably put them on a different television or whatever station or something, right? But I think what is good, and John did mention a little bit earlier, the people that do win is a lot of the people that was on the roster that normally wasn't getting like TV time. So that's kind of good to see. I'm super excited for them. The only thing that I still wonder a lot with AEW, and I don't want to talk too much about it, but think about it. All right, so you got Dynamite, you got Rampage, and you got Collision now. Why not have something that is just your developmental? Now, I know you have Dark. AEW has Dark, right? And that's still like a YouTube thing. Or that's done, right?
It's done. It's so done. Some people are thinking that they're going to use Ring of Honor as a developmental.
Well, I mean, even so, I'm saying have something to model that so that they can get TV time too. Because that's why I did like Dark when I was watching it. But I mean, can I be ignorantly and ask y'all this question? Is Rampage still on the struggle bus?
Yeah.
So why don't you just make that
the struggle bus?
Okay. So why don't you just make that your developmental brand and rebrand it? If you got Collision, better make sure that shit is on fire, because that's the end of your television taping, right, of the week. And if you going up against WWE, shit, SmackDown is a period with a T most times. So, this is something to maybe think about.
All right. Let me go right quick. And yes, you guys do see Travis is on. We'll get to him. We're talking first topic, just the idea that Collision is now starting up in June. And then after Collision, we'll go right into the next, the biggest issue about Collision and their star for the show. But before we get over to that, Rob, who's with us today, man, tell us, what's your thoughts on the idea of now Collision starting up, man, another show for AEW?
I don't like this. I love AEW, but this reminds me too much of Sunday Night Heat going back 20 years ago. It's like, do I care? You have the middle of the week is when you want to grab my attention. The weekend, the way I've been programmed, and yes, back in the day, ECW would do this. ECW, if you're from New York, they would have a show on MSG Network at 4 a.m. It wasn't the good match. It was an Al Snow match. It was a Tajiri match, and then they would go, and this weekend Sabu. Are you ever going to see Sabu at 3 a.m? No. You're going to see Rob Van Dam at 3 a.m? No. It was jobbers. So I don't much care for it, but the card looks good. They're talking about Miro, they're talking about Samoa Joe, and that I like that. But then that kind of gives me the feeling that these guys aren't that important, that you couldn't bring them up on the Dynamite or Rampage. And also, Dynamite, as much as I love AEW, their numbers are dropping a little bit at a time. They went from 877 2 weeks ago to this week 814,000. So why would you introduce another show unless you're trying to net all of the numbers together and go, look how many viewers we got, when you're taking a gross product instead of improving the 2 shows you have? Me personally, before I even made Rampage, I would have tried to make Dynamite the most savage show and really have it get those Raw numbers. I say those Raw numbers because you're not touching SmackDown. SmackDown's on Fox. It's easily accessible. They always make it a very electrifying show. Even if I don't like some of the storylines, they make it a very, not insultingly, they make it a colorful show. They know what they're doing with the way they present and book the matches. Dynamite is a show for wrestling fans. It's not targeting new people. It's targeting people like ourselves who are these continuity bound. I want to see these guys I know. I want to see a layout and a storyline I know, but they keep slipping in numbers because of it. And now you're going to add another jobber show. And it's what it feels like. It's going to be like a jobber show. Samoa Joe is not as good as he was back in Impact Wrestling days. You know, he's another guy. He'll have a match where he has good spots, but he's not doing banger matches that go out for a half an hour. He's not doing Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle matches. Those days are gone. He's there to put people over. Miro, I don't know what they do with Miro. Miro walked out in cargo shorts. Miro was supposed to be God's champion. Why is God's champion walking out in cargo shorts? Okay? Why is he a goddamn nerd? Hey, I want to go home and have sex with my beautiful wife. No, you're not, because she was banging Bobby Lashley. The last time we saw her, you put her in blackface and had her, like, you know, suck facing Bobby Lashley. Yeah, that was, yeah. And then they put her in the, you know, the Wakanda hairdo. It was racist as all hell, but that's the last time we saw CJ Perry, Lana, whatever the hell she's going to come out as. So unless he comes out and redoes that old WWE gimmick, I really don't care about Miro because he's got nothing to wrestle for. Unless you're going to have Collision use all the Ring of Honor belts, and then is it basically Ring of Honor 2.0? Like, is it the second Ring of Honor show? I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll tell you this, Travis, it's definitely been a very different tone from these guys, you know, now that you're here, because these guys were all pro AEW, and now they're saying, you know, I don't know about this, you know. So just quickly, Travis, because we want to talk mainly about the next topic. When you heard about that they were creating this next show that's about to, you know, start on the 17th, what was just your first quick thoughts on that?
Quick thoughts? Come on, I got to catch up with everything. Where am I at today? I'm in fucking Hershey, Pennsylvania. And of course, there's no internet service. That's why I'm late, everyone, but it's always good to be with the boys who are bad from Vegas.
There you go.
Hopefully, you guys are buying tickets to the Fan Fest next week, because I heard there's 4 tickets for $40. I'll give you 40. I'll give you $50. Here, bring a friend. Wow. So much to digest here. I forgot the guy's name. Sounds like he's from New York. That's a plus. Rob. Last time we saw CJ Perry, that would be 2 weeks ago, behind Selena Vega's parents in the second row of Backlash. That's the last time I saw CJ Perry.
I forgot about that.
Simon said something about an AEW developmental show. I thought that was called Dynamite.
Let's see. Go. Wow. he ain't even progressively tiptoe up to this shit. He just goes right into it.
Where do we go? Oh man. So here's the situation. I forgot the name of the, was it Lean on Me, Morgan Freeman, where he was the principal and tried to clean up the school?
That's Stand and Deliver. Or is that Stand and Deliver?
No, it's Lean on Me.
Lean
on Me. All right.
Yeah. So that's how I feel Tony Khan should do. Because Morgan Freeman didn't come to the school and say, hey, we're going to split half of the school, and you guys are going to only go to school Monday, Tuesdays, and the other half are going to go to school Wednesday, Thursdays. You know, he went in and he raised some hell and cleaned shit up. Tony Khan wants to be everyone's fucking friend and say, hey, guys, I'm going to go to fucking Discovery and see if I can get a new TV show, and you guys who don't like everyone, you guys can go work Saturdays. Come on, dude. Like, at this point, everyone wants to be like, oh, they're three years in, they're doing great. No, they're not. You can't bank one night in Toronto and one night in London and say this company is doing well. And I hate to come in here and just be negative, but facts are facts. We're going into this next topic for a reason, because as an owner, you don't let what happened the past few days happen and force you to look silly. Collision, like I can't even say it's good for them. You know, as was mentioned, the Dynamite numbers are tanking, and I'll give them the credit and say the past month has been in NBA, NHL, but where are we going next month for Dynamite? You know, where are we going with these numbers? Rampage is not even like at this point, like Rampage is competing against WoW or Impact or New Japan as far as ratings. And for Collision, I mean, Saturdays at 8 p.m. What's happening? Like when this show starts going in July and August, like we're getting into college football Saturdays. We're getting into UFC. I mean, they're walking straight into UFC owning a Saturday. They're walking straight into WWE owning a Saturday. So that's 2 Saturdays a month that are already owned by other entities. Um, don't let there be a boxing event on that third Saturday of the month. So I feel bad for the talent who got stuck on that show. Now, yes, I'm going to say they got stuck on that show. And if you look at the flyer, and if you look who's on that flyer, and you put connect all the dots, you see why those people on that flyer are on that Saturday show. You know, and
Yeah.
it's
So with that, let's jump right into our count two. And this one is that AEW Collision debut backup plan if CM Punk issues aren't resolved. So just to get everybody caught up right quick, this is just from WrestlingInc.com, and it's just a couple of paragraphs. It just says that, of course, according to Wrestling Observer Dave Meltzer, that they do have a backup plan in place at the United Center booked, which, of course, is in Chicago, Illinois. But if there's no Punk, then Daly Place in Jacksonville, Florida is likelier option. Now, it says in Daly's Place, people have been told it's the backup plan for over a month. It seems all but certain that Punk was on his way back to AEW programming. He hasn't appeared for the company since All Out last September when he defeated Jon Moxley to become AEW World Champion for a second time. And unfortunately, the event immediately took a backseat to what happened afterwards. A backstage brawl following Punk's incendiary comments during the post-show media scrum directed at the Elite and others. Now, over recent weeks, things look to have improved between all sides. Punk and Chris Jericho reportedly had a reasonably successful meeting. Then this week arrived, and amid rumors about AEW status, Punk was removed from promotional materials for Collision, reportedly due to an issue involving Ace Steel's status with the company. Going from the United Center and a potential Punk return to Daly's Place, and no such return would be a gut punch to many fans. And that said, there's still time to sort this out. Okay. I'm gonna go right back to you right quick, Travis, on this, because you brought this to my attention. So what are you hearing about? I was really confused. Why is Punk looking like there's a chance he's not? Is it really about Ace Steel, or is it something else that's causing him to not maybe show up at this event?
Well, I mean, since it's a company that's based on hiring your friends, I would have to assume that it is about Ace Steel.
Okay.
You know, and logically, I mean, well, not logic, but AEW logic, why couldn't he bring Ace Steel in? I mean, there's a part of the incident that I guess none of us are ever going to know because there's a legal aspect to it that I guess won't speak about it.
Yeah.
So it's just I mean, I was baffled. You read something where it said Punk had a successful meeting with Jericho.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing that was successful about that meeting is that he was able to go backstage to WWE the next day and have some catering real quick. Because that took up the story of the week of that meeting and so forth. I'm just baffled. How do you have all of this stuff from all the promotional packages and everything made, and then literally at the very last minute it was pulled, whether it's pulled Monday evening or Tuesday morning?
Yeah.
How does that look like really, how does that look for AEW? How does that look for Tony Khan? It's like I don't know. I mean, this isn't a Sunday afternoon football game, and you find out late Saturday night that your quarterback, has a finger injury and he can't play, so you pull him very last minute. Like
Right.
you're trying at this point. They're not even. You can't be number one. You can't. You should just be a very successful number two, a very reputable, very marketable number two, and it seems like they're even struggling at doing that at this point. I think they had it last year. I really do. I mean,
Yeah.
I sent you guys something of ticket sales for Monday Night Raw last week in North Carolina compared to ticket sales for Double or Nothing in Vegas. And a random Monday Night Raw should not be outselling a pay-per-view for AEW.
Mm-hmm.
So they've lost it. And it seems like a lot of the downfall ratings and hardcore fans of AEW kind of slowly moving away started when all this Punk stuff started.
Well,
And
you know what?
Is it really worth it? Is this guy really worth it? I need AEW fans to tell me this. I need Tony Khan to tell me this. Is he really worth all of this that's going on right now?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me read John's statement, and then I'm going to go right over to Sin City Steve and then over to Rob. John says on here, it says, what a surprise. Another issue in pro wrestling with CM Punk being somehow involved, whether it's ROH, WWE, and now AEW multiple times. The company is different, but CM Punk is the common denominator in every situation. The guy is cancer. Time to eliminate the cancer. Sin City Steve, we know you are a fan of the product. What is your take when you hear about all this taking place as a fan? I mean, what do you think?
So the thing is, yeah, he's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I just answer your question directly, Travis. He's not worth it. He's not worth the the bullshit that he heaped onto the company previously. And then he's not worth the the last minute decision to completely just fuck over what should have been one of the best days in your company's history.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, the WBD upfronts should have been a landmark day for AEW. And it wasn't. The only thing that people remember other than Collision itself is the fact that CM Punk is CM Punk. And as John so eloquently said, he's pulled this shit everywhere that he's been. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that there are things that are going on that nobody on this panel knows anything about, and whatever the situation is. But just piecing things together and the knowledge and events that have been documented, yeah, the guy is a cancer, and it's ridiculous at this point. You cannot continue placating this guy. I mean, Ace Steel, fucking seriously, if anybody deserved to lose their job from Brawl Out, it was Ace fucking Steel. Give me a fucking break.
Rob, I'm gonna go right over to you, man. I mean, you're a fan of the product as well. I mean,
so I was at that Double or Nothing when he won, and we don't know about the scrum. I'll be honest. I never paid attention to a wrestling media scrum until then. That was the first time I really paid attention to it. I mean, they have it in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're boring as hell. I lost, but next time I will win. Back to you. And it's like, okay, but, oh, all right. So I'm watching this after the fact. I'm like, oh, this happened after. Okay. Why is this again? And you ask the question, this is like, are you a mark? Is this kayfabe? Is this a work? Is this a work, him bitching about stuff going on behind the scenes? And then you look at Tony Khan's face. I'm like, oh, it's not. Because Khan is like, yo, you're calling me out in front of everybody. Dude, my understanding, and this is me, looking at wrestling like a fanboy, is just you won the match, fanfare, confetti, go take a shower. I don't need you talking smack about your company because you're the face of the company. This is why I don't like what WWE did by having 2 world heavyweight belts. You're the face of the company. You're one company, one guy. So when you call out the guy who's paying you, you make him look like a jackass. You make yourself look like a jackass. Even if you do have beef like that, you don't air that. You don't air that because you lowered the stock. And now what do we have to do? We have to go out there a day later and go, you know, that big storyline that we built up to in this big match and this big win, and the guy came back from injury, and yeah, we had to cut it short because he's got an attitude problem. So the guy throws a tantrum and screws over the company. And I'm like, why would I want to be invested in this? Because it's going to break off viewers. And he wasted a lot of people's time. And I got the feeling from this with how quickly they brought back the Elite. I didn't feel like it was them, because they had to give it some space and they give it some air. But you wasted a lot of time. You wasted technically 4 different belts. You had the trios belt, and then you had that belt. You wasted everybody's time as an employee. You wasted everybody. You put everyone's job at risk when you do that. That's selfish. Yeah. Look, I had a beef with a coworker. They said to me, dude, this is a business. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that at a crappy retail store. You certainly can't do it when you've got 1 million jobs, 1 million viewership on the line, right. And you're not going. They broke the 1 million viewership like 1.5 years ago, and they can't get past 800,000 now. You can't afford to be that petty. Squash it behind the scenes. So then what they do to try to, put some shine on it, they had MJF do that, where he cut that promo where he was cursing at the scrum. Okay, that's funny, but you have to have a 25-year-old guy try to put some shine back on your company because a veteran who should know better screwed it up a few months earlier? I don't understand that. I don't get it.
Let me ask Simon Street, how do we move on from here? Where do we go from here? I mean, we got a situation, we got a show, it's still going to happen. Look like the venue might end up changing now, being in Florida, instead of now, being in Chicago. How do we fix this and move on to start rebuilding to make AEW what it should be?
Well, first and foremost, sometimes, and actually, if I'm being honest, most times you can't fix anything and move forward. Sometimes all you can do is just move forward. And I say that because it's still that $3 million contract. You got to eat that shit. Plain and simple. You played yourself. And we all been talking about it. And don't get me wrong, I believe in the AEW product. That doesn't mean I agree or believe in the way it's run. We all know we're going to sit here and talk about the cancer that is CM Punk. That is obvious. But you also have a chronic condition called Tony Khan. There's been tons of people who have started great companies, but it came to a standpoint where it's time for you to step away.
Dixie Carter.
And I was just about to say it. You're reading my mind. And you need to let other people run it. People who are qualified to run it if you truly believe in that product. It's not the case. Tony Khan. Now, obviously, either for you, and I'm going to keep it real 100 and real street, either you are truly a bitch, because that's what you look like in your own company, and you had CM Punk dog you out, and you cut his check. Nah, that's bullshit. You get what I'm saying? So either you pretending to be a bitch or you are a bitch. And I'm saying it just like that. And I'm sorry I got to put it to you, bro, because I believe in the AEW product. You're going to run it into the ground. Doing these senseless decisions. Who's tugging on your coattails? Who? Because it ain't nobody that I could think of.
I just want to say I'm going to send this to Tony Khan because he's headed to Vegas this week, and I hope he comes and kicks your ass for calling him a bitch.
Oh, bring it on. Bring it on. You know what I'm going to do?
Bitch, the way you described him, he's a cuck.
That part. Tony Khan could find me. Ain't no problem. At the end of the day, I tell you what, after I have a nice little discussion with him, I will let him know, why are you wasting your energy on me? You should be wasting your energy or devoting your time and learning how to develop a board of people who can hold you accountable, because you are out here, and we all say it, you want to hire all your friends, right? Okay. You advertise that. You attracted CM Punk and his shit. You attracted that long time ago, and he ain't the last person. There's going to be some other cancers that are coming to your organization. And why? Because you like, oh, we all friends. We all good. Nah, bullshit. You're a businessman. Act like it. Act like it.
But
Have
is
it
he?
be structured. Well, he presents himself that way.
His dad is. I don't know about him. I always looked at him as the kid with a lot of money, because when AEW came out, it was Cody Rhodes was the face of the company. They had Cody Rhodes in the suit saying, I am a student of pro wrestling. I watch tape when I have free time. When they did the Jericho promotion where Jericho asked for the job, he didn't even ask. He came in with the hat where he was I forgot that that persona he had, and he said, I'm saving your company, Cody. I'm going to build the company on my shoulders. Okay, he didn't go to Tony Khan. He went to Cody Rhodes because that's the way they sold it. When Cody Rhodes left, Tony Khan did the Forbidden Door thing, and that was cool for a little bit, a little while. But then you left it with this guy, and the guy looks like he's coked up every time he cuts a commercial. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's some energy to him. But when they said he's got a big announcement, that wasn't a big announcement. Okay, guys, we've got a new show, and we're going to be in Canada. Okay, and there was nothing else. I'm like, that's not a big announcement. When he came out with Shivani and interrupted Impact Pro Wrestling with the heart sunglasses, and he looked like he just hit a bump, cool. And bumps for him are different things than they are for every other person in the wrestling industry, and that's fine. But then you have to have something to talk about. Don't get me wrong. When Triple H opens up his mouth, I want to hit him with a baseball bat. He's so boring. But this guy, at least Triple H has something to say, kind of. This guy has nothing to say.
At least when Hunter comes out, at least he looks like a professional. He's not wearing an NXT jacket or a lovely WWE hoodie. He's coming out in a suit. Tony's got that Jaguars jacket he always wears, and it's like, okay, who sent the production assistant out? Who sent the writer assistant out?
But that's bad too for Triple H. How are you going to come out and run into the ring posts and jump on the posts and get all amped up wearing a suit? It looks stupid. You look
but
like
it's something you remember, though. That's the thing, and when he does it, you kind of remember what he says or whatever. It looks stupid, but at least he's not looking coked up stupid. We all know. Never mind. I don't want to.
Hey,
but you know what the bad thing is? I was just gonna say. You know what the bad thing is
bad coke.
Other than bad coke, you can get away with being coked up. Shit, half of these damn execs are fucking coked up or are popping something. But
fentanyl will solve that problem.
It's true. But you can also get away with not dressing the part, right? But the problem is your history and your track record, which already is lacking thereof experience. Okay, I'm sorry. I did some research when AEW first started off. There's not much to do in this, right? And then when you do have an opportunity to actually add something to your resume, you have these horrible, horrible blunders. And it's consistent now. It's more consistent than the successes you have. You gotta, I'm telling you, it sucks to say this, guys. There will one day not be AEW around. And I'm just being honest. And I'm enjoying it for as long as I can. But it won't be because of the talent. It won't be because they're going against WWE.
I've got a thought about that.
Hey, hold on right quick. Simon, do you mind, just for the sake of time, that we just drop out of the count three?
Of course. I thought that's what we were going to do anyways. Let's stay on this shit. Yeah.
Because I
feel like Vince McMahon on the Chris Jericho podcast.
Yeah,
I don't understand. Keep going.
Yeah.
Well, best mustache ever.
But then after I
want to know what pussy is he eating for his mustache.
Oh my God.
To be like that.
What?
It's horrible.
Where did we come from with this?
Oh, God.
The mustache. It's the
Linda.
second time we talked about
Hey,
it.
can
It's
I just
Linda.
ask-
That's the Linda
let
effect.
me just ask you three a question. And when I say three, I'm talking Rob, Simon Street, and Sin City. I hear what you guys are saying, and not so much Sin City, but the other two about Tony Khan and how, I mean, we're beating him down right now. But on a wrestling talk, you guys are all about what you're seeing on TV. It's great stuff. I mean, we're beating down on what WWE is presenting, and we're loving everything that we're seeing on AEW. So what is the conflict here about when we have on one aspect, he's coked up, he's inexperienced, he's got all this money, he doesn't know what he's whatever. And on the other side, look what he's doing. He's great. He's got great storylines. The wrestling's great. You both said Dynamite was the best show this past week in wrestling. Just help me figure out, Travis, don't lose your mind. This is
easy.
said.
Was I not clear? Was I not clear when I said
Okay,
that it's about how his company is
Correct.
run?
Yeah,
You can have a great
Absolutely.
cast, but a shitty director. We've seen tons of movies that's like this.
okay.
listen to him.
Especially on
Come
Well,
on.
Brazzers.
I'm pointing up because
Seriously.
on my screen he's above me. So
Seen a lot of
Bro,
Brazzers movies where the acting is horrible, but the action is great.
and so that's the thing is, we can talk all day long about creative and whether we like storyline A or storyline B, but the fact is how a company runs behind the scenes is separate for me when it comes to the show that I'm watching. Okay, the show that I'm watching is what's entertaining me at the moment. I'm not sitting there like fucking around with my phone, like, oh, I wonder who's going to be fucking causing backstage shit. I don't fucking deal with that. I watch the show that's in front of me. If I enjoy what I see, then I enjoy what I see, and then I talk about it and I say those things. But yeah, you have to make a separation if you're looking at it from an entertainment perspective.
I think
like
Tony.
Impact Wrestling, but Impact Wrestling, if you notice how that works, remember when Dixie Carter hired Hulk Hogan, and she had that big media scrum about it, that big press conference, and then 2 years later, you have Bully Ray throwing her through a table.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was their way of saying you kind of put us in the wrong direction, and now we're back at a bingo hall. We had 10,000 seat arenas. We were at the Orleans with Rampage Jackson, and now we're at a bingo hall because of your fucking ass. You're going through a table, bitch. And they put her through the table, and you never saw her again. And I said that to my father, said to my other friends, I said, how did this happen? They had decent sized arenas that they were playing to. No, it was never going to be bigger than WWE. How did they go from being on the hunting channel, like, at 2 a.m?
TNN.
Yeah, it was really it's called Prospect.
America.
And the show that came after it was just a dad with his 5 blonde, blue-eyed daughters hunting bears out in Utah. And I'm like, this is what followed you. How did you get this bad? When I went to the Samstown taping for Impact Wrestling, the front row was empty. You were there. There were 3 seats open in the front row that were empty, and a guy, this old man was sitting there. He put his notebook on one of the chairs. We thought he was saving a seat. So the camera crew came to him, stopped recording, ran around, and then started recording from the other side to make it look like it was a continuous taping. And I went, Jesus Christ, are you fucking kidding me? That you can't fill Samstown. How did this happen? They don't even have money.
Bad.
I mean, Joe Hendry broke his nose at an Impact taping. He doesn't even have enough money. His nose is still broken. It's shifted off to the left. They just wrote the storyline that it shifted off to the left. They can't even, fix their talent's broken nose. I think this is what's going to happen with AEW. AEW is going to be like a dying star. When a star dies and it doesn't go full nova, it goes into a little white dwarf. It's always there, but it's not dead. It can't die. AEW will never leave. It will just be a shell of itself, just like Impact Wrestling. That's what's going to happen. And you'll have somebody cutting a promo like Kurt Angle did going, hey, I hear TNA's hiring. Hey, I hear AEW's hiring. Huh? Go over there. We don't need you on NXT.
Tony Khan needs to be a Steinbrenner and not a Steiner.
No,
know,
but
it's
Steinbrenner's a bad example because Steinbrenner made the Yankees terrible in the 80s because he kept getting involved with all of the purchasing choices and the management choices. And when Steinbrenner let Buck Showalter in 91 take over the team, he built the team that Joe Torre inherited in 96. So if you're going to use that example, it's terrible because I don't even want that. I want you to fork over the money, let Cody Rhodes make the decision. Let who not I was gonna say Terry Funk, but I can't think of the other guys they have on their writing team. But let Dustin Rhodes take it. Give it to a Runnels. Let somebody who knows how to run a business. Look, I think Triple H is great behind the scenes, but he's too corporate. He gets up on the mic and he reeks of corporate. You know,
but you have to when your company is on the stock market that at the beginning of this year was hovering at $92, and for the past month and a half has been hovering at $104. You have to be corporate as fuck, and that's just the bottom line. Now at this point, Tony Khan has to, I mean, we're talking about you talked about going from a big arena to Sam's Town. That's no difference than going from the United Center and possibly saying we're going to be running Daily Center. But
then there's Wembley, and they're going to hang their hat on Wembley
but
until they sold it out.
Everyone wants to give me this, but Wembley, okay, but 2 nights of WrestleMania. You could put Wembley and Toronto Forbidden Door together. You're still not getting night 1 of WrestleMania. At this point, and everyone can, and I talked about this before. Bring up Wembley all you want, but until I see what that production looks like, I don't want to hear shit about Wembley.
They'll have a great pyrotechnics thing at the end where they're holding each other in the middle of the ring.
If it's just a walkway and no pyro or anything like that, I mean, at least when you guys saw when WWE came to Vegas at the Raider Stadium, and even with Clash, but even at that in Clash of the Castle, they didn't do the big production. But you got some type of pyro. You had a walkway that's all LED, and the surrounding area was all LED. I mean, look at Puerto Rico. Look how they did the backlash, setup. I mean, that was pretty creative, and it was all LED screen. So it's like AEW's got to come up with something like that. I don't even know if they can. I mean, we're hiring podcasters to be on the creative team. Like, you guys could be hired next week. This could be the Las Vegas Bad Boys. By next Sunday, you guys could be
he ain't gonna hire me. I just called him a bitch. He ain't gonna hire my ass.
maybe after he,
I got strung out and I got a drug problem next week.
Tony Khan, I am accepting all phone calls for the record.
If he has to, honestly, if he has to drop from the United Center to Daly's place, which we're, as of this taping, is 2 days away from hearing this announcement, he may hire you guys to be on his crew.
I've now got a bunch of guys from Las Vegas. They're going to do an amazing job. It's going to be the best show we've ever seen. You're going to love it. I'm breaking all the doors. The back door is open too, guys. All the doors are open.
Well, hold on, man. I don't mess with no other man's back door. So I mean, he gonna have to chill out with that one.
Hey, let me just.
I can't wait till he tweets about you guys.
For a reason, guys.
Make sure your Twitter's updated so he can tag you.
Oh Lord,
tagging me, huh?
Travis, you tag me. I ain't got no blue check mark on my Twitter. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
Travis, half of that, 90% of that roster doesn't have a blue check mark, so that doesn't even matter.
Travis, one last thing I just want to ask you, and then we'll end the show. For some reason, AEW fans believe that Cody somehow got fucked for Mania and still getting fucked with this new Universal title that they're about to do. Why I feel myself defending that there's a long process for Cody, and it's not the idea of just giving him this belt as quick as they believe he should have it. Am I wrong with this? Why should Cody automatically just be thrown to the top, which they're expecting him to be? Especially Rob over here.
You went to WrestleMania, right?
Yep, I was there.
Was there a lot of people there?
Lots of people.
Big stadium?
Huge stadium.
What's that little venue across the street?
Which one? The Forum or?
Yeah. Okay. Who runs there?
Who runs the Forum? Nobody.
Which wrestling organization?
What's AEW did a show there?
Who ran this football stadium?
The football stadium. That's where the Rams are at.
But which wrestling company?
Oh, you talking about WWE? Yeah.
All right. So who got fucked?
I'm just saying.
I could answer that.
I think they used the Forum. Honestly, I think they used the Forum as Cody Rhodes' I think they used the forum as Cody Rhodes' as a locker room because of all the AEW stars that wanted to come hang out. But I mean, I don't know. For wrestling fans who and this goes for WWE fans also, but especially lately AEW fans that want to bitch about the writing for WWE. The first thing I ask them all is your resume updated? Because I can personally make sure it gets to the right person if you want to be on the creative team. But now that we're hiring podcasters to be the creative team on the Turner networks, maybe that's where your resume should go. I don't
Hey,
know.
Travis,
I mean, I think when Cody got hired, I think that's where we all saw the long-term plan. Everyone. I'm not. If one person says they didn't expect Cody to win at Mania, they're a fucking liar. So I can see it. I'm at the standpoint of let's just sit back and see where they go with this. Do I agree with the second title? I don't think a second title is needed. I'm sure,
Good.
whatever.
Yep.
But
You had me scared
2K
there.
2K can have it. They're going to sell a lot of these new belts for the holiday season. It just feels weird. Now, I will say this: if the second title is created, and if they keep doing the thing, Roman keeps looking at it, and it's something where he's okay, tell me that story of the next, year and a half. But then again, 2 years from now, where are we at with this second title? I don't think it's needed. We saw the Raw, we saw the SmackDown titles. We've seen it before. It kind of feels like they're introducing a new Intercontinental title. But when we look at the whole aspect of the WWE landscape of titles, everything's kind of baffling at this point, to be honest. Explain to me how the NXT Women's Champ had to vacate her title, but the NXT Women's Tag Champs didn't have to vacate their titles.
Exactly.
There's a lot that I can break down about the titles. Is like I don't even personally for me, bitch about the new world title all you want. I don't care. AJ and Seth are going to go out there and and give us a show, but
It's going to be a banger.
But break it down to me about these titles. Like I said, I will skip what this argument of the world titles and take you straight to these NXT titles. And like I said, explain to me why Indy had to vacate her title, but the women's tag champs did not have to vacate their titles. Make it make sense. So that's what I would. That's the argument I need to bring up. First and foremost, than anything that Roman or Seth or AJ is going after. I mean, if we want to be serious, I think it's a Saudi Arabia title, which Daryl, you obviously won't be watching while you're eating Wingstop next week. So we're going to explain this to you next Sunday.
You will have to explain it, Rob. What was your quick thoughts, man?
Because I know you're not going to Double or Nothing next Sunday.
Two things. When Roman Reigns looks at the belt, but he doesn't cut a promo about it that he got screwed, because he should be the one complaining more than Cody, because you're telling me the story that he's got this 1,000 days coming up, but now he's not the champion of the whole company, the undisputed world heavyweight champion. He should be cutting a promo going, Triple H or Nick Khan, you screwed me. Hey, wise man, go fix this. Okay? Why am I carrying 2 belts and one of these belts doesn't mean anything? And 2, it's not that I cared about Cody winning. It's not even that I cared about they put it this babyface story. The wife, you had -1 over there, and whatever the hell. You made it so syrupy. He threw out Solo Sikoa. All right, we got it. We know where this is going. Forget that. Roman Reigns is so bored being the champion that the story now is that he hates his own family. He doesn't even care about who he's wrestling. He's so bored. The Monday night after Raw was a joke. After WrestleMania was horrible. It was the worst one ever. And he came out and he was so bored. He was just like, acknowledge me. Because he's bored. The storyline wasn't that Cody deserved it. The storyline is that Roman Reigns goes, who is left? There's nobody left. I beat them all. You did beat them all. So give it to Cody. Let him face all those people. Now it's fresh. And then if Roman Reigns wants to come out at SummerSlam and screw him, now I'm invested. I will not talk about AEW ever again if you gave me that story. I want a I'm a nerd. I'm a sci-fi nerd. I want a Wrath of Khan story. Yep. I want him to come out and go, no, Cody, you're not getting away. Give me that story. Instead, what you gave me is, Roman needs some time off, so here's another belt. That's the way. Remember when Triple H framed it? He said, we need a champion all the time who's going to be a fighting champion. So you just dissed Roman Reigns. You took Roman Reigns and you took him onto a lower platform. And you said, obviously, my guy can't hang because he can't be a fighting champion. Now, whether or not you like him as a character or his ability on the mic, he has been a fighting champion. He has
he's had more title defenses than other champions have in the past.
When he took Edge and stacked Bryan Danielson on top of him, I went, this guy just won me. That was the night he won me over. When he stacked one guy on top of the other, no interruptions, no freaking run-ins. I went, wow. And he does the guillotine. That's savage.
I love the guillotine.
And he didn't have that in the repertoire. He added that later on, and the facial expressions in the ring. He's a slower wrestler than The Rock. I'm fine with that. When he got, you know what I used to think for years? I used to think that he had some like abdominal problems from his cancer, and I thought he had a colostomy bag, which is why he had on the vest all the time. I'm not making a joke.
Didn't he have a hernia?
Because when he did the movie, when he did the Fast and Furious movie, and he was wearing that Hawaiian outfit, it was up over his belly button. I thought they were trying to cover something up. When he came out the way he's been for the last 3 years, I went, okay, you won me back. You're winning me. Acknowledge me. You're winning me. Paul Heyman, you're winning me. Why did they screw him? They didn't screw Cody. They screwed Roman Reigns. You made him look weaker. You made him look frail. And he doesn't want to be in there. He's bored. So now the storyline is he hates his family.
Yeah. And so let me move right quick to Simon Street, let you get your final thoughts just on this topic. And then go ahead, man.
The only thing I will say with regards to AEW, just in general, and because we were talking about the whole CM Punk situation, we really went off topic. But in all seriousness, though, man, AEW is really going to have to figure some things out because and I said it earlier before you jumped on, Travis. AEW was a success in making a splash in a big pond where most people wouldn't give a shit. They cultivated a audience large enough to where you don't know where AEW fanboys and fangirls are going to come out of, man. You start talking shit about AEW, they just start teleporting like fucking, like remember the putties and shit from Power Rangers and shit? It just come out of nowhere. They ready.
Try walking through the TSA with this on. You'll hear about AEW fanboys. Jesus Christ.
But I say all of that because that's substantial. Do you see what I'm saying? And if Tony Khan can't find a way to put his pride to the side and to get the right professionals in there, dude, you would have disserviced so many fans because I can have a conversation with somebody and the rules be, don't tell me if you're a WWE fan or an AEW fan. Just tell me how much you love the product you're watching without saying any names. I can tell distinctively the difference between an AEW fan and a WWE fan. That's not a bad thing. What are they going to watch? What are they going to watch? So I hope Tony figures it out because at the end of the day, dude, you present yourself in this business as a fool, or like I used to call, you present yourself like a hoe for hire. Change to what you attracting because CM Punk ain't gonna be the only contract that's $3 million that you got to eat looking like Boo Boo the Fool. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, no doubt. Sin City Steve, I'm gonna let you get your final last thoughts on this comment, and then we're off to the end of the show, brother. What's your take?
I hate the tribalism. I've done all that I can on Wrestling Talk. It would be very, very easy for me just to come in and talk shit about the things that I don't like with WWE and put a magnifying glass on WWE and, say detractive things. I don't do that. And I think that it comes down to all pro wrestling is good in the eye of the beholder. If you enjoy what you're seeing each week, then watch what you enjoy. Mm-hmm. If you don't like something, if you want to talk shit, you can. But the fact is, I think that when the water rises, all boats rise. When there are boom periods in this business, all promotions do well. All wrestlers gain extra money. They do better.
Yeah.
I think that we are in a really interesting time right now. There hasn't been a number two, a solid number two promotion to WWE in 20 plus years. No offense to Impact Wrestling. But the fact is, this is an exciting time right now. And for everybody just to focus on strictly the negative, that's what I have a problem with.
Yeah.
So it's just watch what you enjoy and enjoy what you watch. If you don't enjoy it, then don't watch.
Yeah. I got you.
I feel like we need a group hug.
All right, group hug. All right, look. We're gonna pretty much end the show. We're all gonna give our final thoughts for the day. The quick thing I just want to say, we did have a passing of superstar Billy Graham that happened, but just wanted to acknowledge that. Anytime any of the past superstars pass, we definitely want to at least mention their name in remembrance and thank them for all they done for the business there. Last thing I want to say, this is a big week, not just the fact AEW is in town, but there is a lot of indie wrestling shows that's going to be taking place out here in Vegas. Please support indie wrestling. All of it starts on Wednesday, and it's even a show leading up all the way up to like Sunday at noon before the main pay-per-view. Most of it's going to be at Future Stars of Wrestling Arena. But GCW, of course, will have some shows out here as well. It's going to be really great and fun. Just come out and support. If you can't, I know that I think it's Fight Plus. Yeah, Fight Plus is where you can order a lot of those shows as well, and you can see it. So definitely come by and support indie wrestling out in the Vegas area. Those are my final thoughts for the week. Now I'm going to start off with you, Simon Street. What would you like to tell the folks out there?
Everybody who's going to be coming down to Vegas for all of the greatness that is wrestling, please be safe to and from wherever you're going. And, just keep it 100 out there. It's going to be a little hot, so keep it cool. Yeah. And for Tony, hey, man, some lasting words, man. It's really all love when it comes from Simon Street. But I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Got a quote for you. You can educate a fool, but you cannot make him think.
Here we go. Tony, pay attention. Sin City Steve, what you want to tell folks?
Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, doing all the stuff that you guys do. We appreciate each and every one of you. Also, very special shout out to all the brave men and women serving this country, whether you're doing it on lands, foreign or domestic. Thank you for doing what you do so that we can do what we love to do. And last but not least, repsports.com, reppsports.com. Go there for all your pre-workout, weight loss, general energy needs. Again, that's repsports.com. Promo code Vegas at checkout. Save yourself 15%. And TK, I am always accepting phone calls. Travis, can I email you my resume, sir?
All right, let me go right quick to Rob. What would you want to? Thanks for joining us on our show, man.
I want to say thank you for having me.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. What you want to throw out there?
I'm Vegas comedian. You can find me on social media at Boss Comedy, BOCE Comedy. I perform at all the, some of the spots that you'll see out there, up and down the valley.
Yeah.
I really am looking forward to Double or Nothing. Can't wait for that. And I think it's going to be a good show. That's my overall take on all this. These shows are really exciting. These matches individually are really exciting because it's really good wrestlers in AEW that know what they're doing. They're just being led into a dark tunnel, and WWE is like, you're gonna watch no matter what. So here's Asuka with another blood capsule. This week it's blue. Huh?
Extra spicy.
Yeah. Next week it's sriracha.
Yeah.
I made him sound like Vince McMahon, but he's sounding more like Vince McMahon. Why is he bald? I don't know. But it's I want them to do well. I want AEW to succeed, so WWE is forced to write better programming because WWE is doing this belt split because they think AEW is dying. So they're preemptively going, we're back to Raw versus SmackDown. Nobody else exists because they've already preemptively decided that they have no competition.
Wow.
So,
okay. Travis, final thoughts.
Steve, just save your resume. I'm sure you guys are gonna get hired by next week, so it'll be good to have a few people not named Thunder Rosa who are working for the company that I can get comps from. As far as everything else, yeah, I just totally drew a blank here. Is Asuka's stuff blue now? Because she's on SmackDown, right?
Yeah, blue.
Yes, blue.
Is that why it's blue? Okay, because it was red on Raw. No, I mean legit. Like it was red on Raw, so they no small things because we can sell the blue capsules for the holidays. Anyways, yeah, no, honestly, numbers, ticket sales, whatever, they are what they are. But AEW, I don't really watch it, but I always hear that they deliver for their pay-per-views, so I'm sure they will. It's kind of like the WWE smaller shows. Those smaller shows always deliver. You know, it may look weird going in, but then they always deliver. I'm sure AEW is going to be the biggest indie show in Vegas next week, and they're going to have fun. So if you guys are going Wednesday or Sunday, or if you honestly need comps, I may know a few people, but until this airs. Yeah, just have fun in Vegas next week. And for those who keep track, yes, I am on the road again. I'm in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Everything is closed and there's no internet in the hotel. That's why I was late. But yes, that's where I am today in the rental car. So
wow. There you go, man.
Well, you got to plug my Instagram because I totally forget what it is. So
yeah, your Instagram is at 1220 Raven.
Yeah, that's it. There we go. I make sure I didn't want to give out my ATM PIN number or anything like that. So.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. It's been fun, man. Thanks, Travis, as well as hanging out, man. We will see you guys next week. We'll talk about everything that happened. And until then, take care. Peace.